Welcome, everyone. I am Janae Armont, the head of Flip's engagement team within Microsoft's learning team, and I am so thrilled for our discussion today. Today marks our kickoff of our AI and EDU series, which is a series that is truly dedicated to exploring the transformative role of AI in education. Over the upcoming weeks, we will be taking a deep dive into thrilling topics because let's face it, AI is already shaping how we teach, how we learn, how we work. And this inaugural episode is just the beginning of our exploration. We have a Microsoft expert who is not only ready to tackle your burning questions, but also eager to guide us on making the most of Microsoft Copilot in higher education and beyond. And I have to say, a little later, you'll be able to see a demo. He will not only share how Copilot can improve efficiency, bring joy back to teaching and learning, and also help our students be prepared for an AI-driven future. So without further ado, let's meet our expert and get started. Welcome, Jethro.
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do at Microsoft.
Oh, absolutely. So my name is Jethro Sigers. I'm a PM on the Microsoft Education Engineering team. And I really focus on responsible AI and how we can use AI both with our faculty and staff, but also with our students and how to do that in a safe and responsible way.
That's incredible, Jethro. That's exactly what we need. And you sound like a co-pilot too, then, right?
Yes,
Co-pilots make
yes.
our life so much easier. So as we begin this discussion, let's think about this AI-driven future. We know
Mhm.
that we want to recognize and also honor that everyone's comfort level is on a continuum from hey, I'm not even ready to touch anything with AI or I'm scared of, AI to the overly enthusiastic, trying out every platform that has any AI driven capabilities. And so thinking about those possibilities as innovation in AI continuously changes on a daily basis, we know information gathering is going to be highly important. So, what do you believe educators and students in higher education should consider before using AI driven experiences?
It's all about being comfortable with AI, right? Is like whether you're an educator or a student, and we have these different age ranges and everybody responds differently to technology, but AI is one of those technologies that no matter what you're trying to achieve can really help you, and just being comfortable with it, just going in there in a safe environment. That's always very important, is when you go and explore, do it in a safe where your data is protected, where your privacy is protected, but just ask questions, try things, see how it responds, try to tweak it, but also come to experiences like this and ask questions, try to be more comfortable and explore what you're trying to do. Not everybody is going to be an expert in a week, but making small steps forward, learning every single day a little bit more how you can use it, whether it's in your classroom or as a student to augment your journey through, in this case, college and university for higher ed, really is going to help increase that comfort level and really go from there.
I love that advice. Just hop in and try something a little bit every day. And, I know even for me personally, when I started exploring Copilot, I started thinking about the day to day activities that I was
Mhm.
immersed in. I had an upcoming travel. And so I asked Copilot to create an itinerary for me for the place that I was visiting for the first time. And to my surprise, and I had, a friend of mine who was familiar with the area to check the places, it gave me very great information, which would have taken me a very long time to compile otherwise. So, love that advice. Think about the things that you do in your day to day interactions and think about how Copilot can be that companion for you. So as we really start thinking about the what next, I know in December, Microsoft announced that it was expanding Microsoft Copilot eligibility for commercial data protection
Hmm.
all faculty users into higher education students ages 18 and above. And we know Copilot provides an AI chat for the web with access to models like GPT-4 and DALI 3 at no additional cost. Like right now, if you try to access these platforms, you will have a cost to using those platforms. Commercial data protection will be enabled when eligible users are actually signed in with their school accounts starting February 1st. So this is really exciting. You know, it was exciting to see that announcement back in December, and February is right around the corner. So, Jethro, what does this mean for our faculty and for students?
Well, it really means, and you said it perfectly, at no additional cost, our students and our faculty and staff have access to the latest models. So that means that you don't have to spend X amount of dollars in subscriptions to get that experience. We, as Microsoft, we're giving that to you for free, or actually at no additional cost. We have to use the right terminology. But additionally, every single time when we make improvements to the models, these improvements will be implemented in Copilot as well. And additionally, privacy and security is essential in education. And we want to make sure that when you use our platforms, you have that. And so when you log in with your organizational account, immediately there's nothing you need to do, and we will show you that in a bit in the demo as well. There will be that commercial data protection. So we give you that opportunity to play around with it. We The same thing I said during the previous question, go and try it. You have access to these models. You can create an image, see what it kind of looks like. You can ask the questions you want to ask, and you have full access. So from an exclusion and equity perspective, this is amazing because you just go to copilot.microsoft.com and you have the full experience with the latest models.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say, Jethro, those university students can save those dollars because when they log into their institution's
Yes.
account, they will have full access to these
Yes.
resources. And not only that, the data within that organization is fully protected if you're using it in this capacity, correct?
100%, and that's essential in everything we're doing at Microsoft. Is we have these components that we feel is a part of responsible AI. Inclusiveness is one of them. Transparency is another. And so we really want to make sure that you have a safe environment where if you make a mistake, cool, no problem. There's nothing that is going wrong. If you share specific data that is unique to your organization, guess what? We're not storing any data when it comes to Copilot. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's not with all systems out there. So we wanted to make sure that you felt really comfortable putting the information that you wanted to so you have the best experience out there.
And that's what I love about Microsoft. Safety and privacy is always in the
Yes.
forefront. So not only will those chats not be saved, but that information is not utilized to train the models as well. Is that correct?
100%. And we're really clear about that, right? Is like in our documentation on learn.microsoft.com, you will see that we're not using the information to train GPT-5, for example, or any other thing. Like when you use the information for the context of your AI experience, we just forget about it. Once you start a new chat, that whole context goes away and we just remove it from our experience. So you don't have to worry about that. And like you said, we're not using that data to train the model.
Safety all around. I absolutely love it. Now, I know there's about 9 reputable institutions across the nation that has early access. And those of you watching, if you are interested in receiving access for your higher ed institution prior to February 1st, we would love for you to check out this link. It's aka.ms/copilot HED access. Oh, and we need to update the wording there, but it is Copilot HED access. And you can complete that request form and have the opportunity for your institution to be able to access Copilot before the February 1st launch date. Now, if you don't want to spend that time for those extra weeks to be able to do so, just note that that access will be available to you starting February 1st. And thank you to the magic behind the scenes. We do have the updated link right in front of us. Thank you so much. All right. So, my next question, Jethro. How does the integration of Microsoft Copilot align with the evolving educational needs and expectations of higher education institutions?
So let's start with what expectations are, right? So education really is trying to create people that are actively going to contribute with our society in all the different professions that we have, but also just as responsible digital citizens, let's call it. So, because AI is such a transformative technology, we have to prepare our students, we have to prepare also our faculty and staff on how that is going to work in that next iteration. So, it's very essential that education organizations are going to start looking what does AI mean in education, not just from a how do we prepare our students, but also how can we augment our education experiences, right? Education is done in a certain way. We have our pedagogical approaches, but now AI, we can actually take that to the next level. Whether you're using AI to create better lesson plans, to come up with fun ideas, to create icebreakers, to help students study better with auto-generated flashcards or quizzes, whether we can provide information to students on how to absorb specific material and how to be better at it. This is the for the in a way a transformational technology that is not just going to make our students better professionals, but it also allows us to augment the education approach in so many different ways, whether it's to give time back to our educators that they can focus on the things they love to do, which is teaching, whether it's to optimize what staff is doing to support those educators and students, whether it's to help students absorb knowledge and be able to take it to the next level and be even smarter and more aware students. That's really where generative AI is going to drive that education experience to the next level. And that's really where I'm personally very excited about. And I see the same thing with the people that I work with is for a very long time, technology would only go so far. This is the first time where it's like, we have carte blanche. We can do a lot of things we never thought we would be able to do. And I think now it's such an amazing opportunity to look at what can we do. And like I said in the beginning, some things are going to be very, very small things. And I'm going to use it one example here to kind of make a point, right? If you're teaching tomorrow about electromagnetism and you've been using the same icebreaker over and over again, now you can go to Copilot and say, you know what? I'm teaching in this college. I have a sophomore class. This is the topic. Can you come with an icebreaker that I can do in an active way with my students? And it will actually give you suggestions on how to do that. So suddenly, with very small requests, with very small tweaks, you're really going to augment the way that you can teach and really bring back some of that newness to the way that we're teaching. I think that's very important and that's very interesting in the time that we're at right now, both for faculty and staff, but definitely for students as well.
I love that. And that little augmentation is going to allow us to see transformative change
Mhm.
with teaching and learning, right? And so, you know, what I hear when you're saying everything that you just said is that this will allow us to be better at teaching and learning. It will provide the equity and the access that we've been championing for a very long time, but also providing students with the ability to save time, be more efficient in their work, be able to apply the things that they have learned in a more efficient manner, right? They don't necessarily
Yeah.
have to spend the time, maybe searching various resources, they can start in one place and then they can explore those resources once they get a gist of the compiled information. So I love your example about the icebreaker, because as educators, and you all know we do this very well, as we may take those lessons year after year and utilize them in our classrooms. But this is where the opportunity comes in, where you can truly align the content what you teach with the interests, maybe the passions of your students, what's current in today's society, bring in some new ideas for additional icebreakers. Maybe there's something different that you can do with each one of your classes that you're teaching. So truly the possibilities are limitless. And just the last night, actually, I went on to Copilot and I asked for an image. We have to remember too, it's not
Hmm.
just text based. You can also create images. And so I created an image about a snowstorm in New Orleans, where I'm from, and we know that snow doesn't necessarily happen in New Orleans quite often. And so there's an image with two children eating beignets in the snow in New Orleans. And so from that one image, one educator might be able to take that as a writing prompt for their students, where another
Hmm.
educator, if they're working on probability, maybe they are researching the history of how many times has it snowed over the past century in New Orleans? What's the probability of it snowing this year, right? So you can take it to math, you can take it to science. It really can be aligned to many disciplines across the board. I see some excitement in the chat here. Hi, Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining in. So those of you in the chat, if you've utilized Copilot or any other AI-driven platform, share how are you using it to make teaching and learning better. All right. And so Jethro, just a follow-up, how might the introduction of Copilot impact maybe the future skill sets and competencies expected from our higher education graduates in the workforce?
I think that's an amazing question. We hear it often as like, what is AI going to do for the workforce, right? Is AI going to replace certain professions? What I would say is AI is not going to replace you as a professional. What AI is going to do is somebody who's using AI will get more ahead and will be more productive and will get more chances than somebody who is not. So it's no surprise why we use the term co-pilot. It's really your co-pilot in your journey. It's to help you. It's your assistant. It's somebody who is helping you to, whether it's to take certain tasks off your hands so you can focus on the things that are important. So AI is a transformative technology that will help our new professionals to achieve more. So if we can bring that into the education journey early on, we're actually creating professionals, new professionals, or future professionals that know how to use AI to get the most out of it, whether it's to find information, whether it's to use information in their day to day processes, whether it's information to automate something. There's so many opportunities, and trans or generative AI will be that co-pilot, whether it's as a technology or using Microsoft products like Copilot in that journey. It's really going to augment what they are going to achieve. I think if you look at the journey that our future professionals are going to be on, it's going to go a lot faster because they have so much information at their fingertips. They have so much skills, automated skills, AI skills that they will be able to rely on. That I think it's such an amazing opportunity for our educators and our students to be like, hey, I'm going to use this every single opportunity that I get. Like, same thing, even at Microsoft, is now that we have access to all these co-pilots, suddenly we become more efficient. We can use them to really focus on the things that gives them the most bang for our buck, let's call it, right? So, and that's the same thing in the education organizations and in the processes that they have. So we want to make sure that our future professionals have that little backpack with Copilot skills, with generative AI skills that they can use to augment what they're trying to achieve. So it's not a replacement skill, right? It's an augmentation skill. It's achieving more with the same type of energy. So it's going to be essential that our students have that journey, and it's going to be essentials that our educators guide our students really on that journey going forward.
I love that. And so I know I in my backpack, I'm gonna have Copilot with me wherever I go. And I even
Sure.
see our friend Renee here is sharing that she's using it for students to begin their research because it provides the references for the information delivered. So shout out to you, Renee. Thank you for hopping in, trying it out, and seeing the beauty because yes, you do see those resources and references that are provided at every chat experience. So Jethro, I have another question. I
Yeah,
know
go
many
for it.
people are probably excited right now. So, how can our educators and students 18 plus access Microsoft Copilot, and what are the requirements?
So, so today, let's start with today. Today for faculty and staff, that is available at no additional cost. So if you go to copilot.microsoft.com or chat.bing.com, same experience. One is integrated in Bing, the other one is a dedicated experience. You just log in with your education organizational account, so the one that you get from your school, university, etc. Automatically you will be redirected to the Copilot with commercial data protection. So there's nothing you need to do, there's nothing you need to click. That's where you will have access. We made the announcement that that will happen for students as well. Same requirements. If your organization wants to take some time to kind of explore it, they can actually customize certain things from an access perspective, but it's going to be available. There's no additional requirement. Well, the only requirement is you need a browser and an internet connection. That's pretty much it. We will also have it. It's actually been released the last few weeks. There's a iOS and Android app for that, which will have the same experience. So we're going to make that available for everybody in the education space. That is our mission. We want our students and our faculty and staff to use this. Today, already, faculty and staff have access to that. If for some reason you would not, reach out to your IT admins. They can probably help you with the enablement. But it is available for faculty and staff, and it will be soon available for higher education 18 plus students.
Wow, I am smiling ear to ear, Jethro, because what you just said captures Microsoft's mission, empowering every person and organization on the planet to achieve more.
Yes.
And this definitely will help to continuously make sure that not only our students and faculty, but their extended family members, community members, businesses are able to really thrive in this space. So now I know people are excited to see what does this look like. So it is demo time. We're going to move to a quick demo to showcase how Microsoft Copilot operates within the educational environment. So we'll explore some features and functionality, how it can be seamlessly integrated and managed within your institution's framework. So I'll pass it over to you, Jethro, and you can take the demo
Awesome.
away.
All right, let me start by sharing my screen. There we go. And let me know if you can't see my screen right now, but it should be an internet browser. So I'm using my Edge here. I'm logged in with one of my faculty and staff accounts that I have.
So we have a white screen right now. So let's
Oh,
see if we can get the actual screen up.
so let me just do that again. Bum, bum, bum. I will just do entire screen. That will make things easier. Just give me a heads up if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Just blame the person between the keyboard and the chair, which is me. Yes, that was an user error joke. So, really, if you go to copilot.microsoft.com, you're going to see this, right? So, that's what the Copilot kind of looks like. You see here that we have integration with Bing, and immediately based on who you are. So because I'm logged in as a faculty and staff member, I get specific prompts that I can start with, whether it's to summarize a good joke that I can use, specifically around analyzing something, writing. You have that full capability. When students log in, they will see different starting prompts. So that's something here that becomes available based on the who you are, whether you're a student or not. I want to call out certain things, right? So first of all, I'm using copilot.microsoft.com. I'm here authenticated with my organization account, so not with a personal account. It's the one that I use to go for Teams for Education, to check my email, all the things you already use in your day to day operation as a teacher or faculty, and when we make this available as a student as well. What is very important is you always should see this little protected sign. When you see this, that means that you're in Copilot with commercial protection. So that means here your personal and company data are protected in the chat, even though that we state company data, we also of course mean your educational data is a part of that. And now I can start asking questions. I can start with a specific prompt like I said here, right? I can even add an image. You can see here how many characters I've used. If I want to start over again, here I have a new topic, which then removes everything that you discussed. And that goes back to that privacy and that protection. Everything that you had in your conversation is going to be removed, right? So I'm going to give you two or three different scenarios on how you can use that. So I already created them. I don't want you to wait before AI starts generating things, but just to show you, and I'm going to use specific student experiences to kind of show how they can be used. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Copilot to generate for me a piece of code. Right. So, as a higher education student, I am doing a data science project, and they've asked me to do data analysis using a labeled bar plot. I'm not so good at writing code, so I'm going to ask Copilot to kind of help me with that. So what I'm doing here is, can you create a function in Python that's the go-to programming language specifically for data analysis? To generate a label bar plot, I want to be able to define if I want to see number or percentages, and I want to have a legend in the top right corner. So when I do this, you see here very clearly that Copilot is able to generate code. I can copy this code, put it in whatever program I'm using for Python, and I have immediately everything available, right? It gives me a little bit of context saying, look, if you want to use percentages, you need to change this parameter. The legend label allows you to specify the label for the legends. It also tells me if I want to use this code, I need to install a library called Math Plot Library and NumPy, which are libraries that you have available. So immediately from these two small sentences that I said, hey, can you generate this piece of code? Now I have available here what is a Python program that allows me to generate a bar plot, right? So that's one. The second part is I also want to show you in that same project, I need to be able to identify based on this image if this distribution is left or right skewed. So I'm not saying anything that this is a bar plot. I'm not saying anything that this is data that it represents. And it knows immediately that this indeed is left skew. It will even explain to me what left skew means, right? That it's also negatively skewed and that the left tail is longer, which you can clearly see here in the image. And what is very important, that's a part also of the AI education that we're trying to do, is we're going to show you where that information comes from, right? We're going to immediately say, look, if you want more details, look, here's all the links that we've used in generating this specific image. Now, what is also important is that we give you the opportunity to provide feedback to us. We know that sometimes, depending on which setting you use in Copilot, that certain fabrications or hallucinations can happen. If that happens, you can say this was not a good one. That comes to us, and then we can look at some of the information that was provided and see if we can improve it. Of course, you can copy it, you can export it, and you see here that you can ask follow up conversations. So, based on this, I can say, what is the main characteristic of left skewed, right? And so, what it's going to do, it's going to take everything from a context perspective, what I've already asked for, and it's just going to augment it. So now you see number 2 of 30. So it's not a new request, it's a request that comes on top of it. So you can just keep asking question, and we'll take everything what you said into consideration. So that's something that you can do. Now, this is all in Copilot. Now, an additional one I want to show you is in Edge, you now have this little component here, which is Copilot in Edge. So let's say that I'm doing a class, European History 101 at the University of Microsoft. And this is my curriculum. This is the PDF, right? And you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. That this is all the information about like the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, exploration and discovery, challenges. And I want to start like consuming that information. So of course I can just read it, or I can open this up and let me scroll a little bit to the top. First thing that I can do is say, hey, what? Can you summarize this document? So we'll actually split it up in multiple components, but it says, sure, I can summarize. These are the main points. So it's European history, has a chronological structure. Here are the key themes. Here's the references, and it will use only this document as the information source. So that way I'm not getting additional information from the internet. This is just the document that is presented. Now I can say, what is the most interesting period, right? And so it gives me all these options. So it stays within the same context. Now, this is just information gathering, but what if I want to kind of test myself? I want to see how far along I am in absorbing the knowledge. So what I'm going to do is say, please generate a multiple choice quiz based on this document, provide the answers at the quiz. So if I scroll all the way down, right, here's what I got. So, what was the name of the treaty that ended the 30-year-old war in 1648? That was the Treaty of Westphalia. So, I can now go all the way down 1C. Yes, 1C. I was right. So, not everything has to be collecting information or summarizing information. You can actually say, you know what? Create me a bunch of flashcards based on this information. Or, hey, create a multiple choice quiz. So, I want to recap real quick. You have copilot.microsoft.com, but we also have this amazing tool, which is Copilot as well. It's the same technology, but now it works within the context of a website, a document, whatever it may be that you have opened in Edge. And now you can actually do all these additional things. So this is available to you today as a faculty or a staff member. So you can use your own documentation or your own information. You can extend that with our Bing search, but it really has that full opportunity to give you all the information that you actually need. So very briefly, 3 scenarios that students can use, that faculty can use, that you can actually have the full experience. So that's something I wanted to show. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you more details, but that's kind of what I wanted to show in the demo.
Ooh, my mind is blown, and I'm going to pop up Anne's comment here. Wow, the quizzes, flashcards, those are things that you may not think at first, that the platform could provide, but just think about the autonomy that students can have in ensuring that they are responsible also for their own learning. And now they have a tool that is a co-pilot that can help them along the way.
Yes.
So I know many of you want to learn more about how to use Microsoft Copilot responsibly. So we do have a Microsoft Learn course called The Fundamentals of Responsible Generative AI. We will pop that into the chat so that you can access that resource and learn on your own. But in closing, as we wrap up this session, I know it was exciting for me. Hopefully, it was exciting for all of you watching. We really dug deep into Microsoft Copilot's potential in higher education and beyond. And we've seen how AI opens up a world of new possibilities. But let's not forget, it's a path that we need to tread carefully. We have to make sure that it fits snugly into our educational goals and it keeps those privacy and ethical flags flying high. So you can explore all that we've shared here and even test out with your own demos at copilot.microsoft.com. And we also want to invite you to share with us your opinions and also your ideas and any questions that you may have in our Flip group that can be accessed at flip.com/Microsoft Copilot. We hope to see you in our upcoming AI episodes. We have great, amazing conversations planned. The next one being January 31st, where we will delve a little bit more into how to utilize effective prompts. We are going to learn from the past and shape our future as we discover Black history through digital innovation. And in March, we are going to have a great conversation with women leaders in AI as they share their stories. So, with that being said, everyone, go forth and make learning fun and empowering with Copilot, and we are there with you every step of the way. Have a great day.